Hello, everybody, and welcome to Turn 1. Happy Tuesday night. We're in Atlanta, and we're going super speedway racing. The BG Graphix Limited Series here on Turn 1. I'm Sean Fitz. Glad you're with us. It's going to be a good time. Qualifying wrapped up, and Man, it's going to be a show tonight here at Echo Park, and the new Atlanta format as they get grid up and get ready to go basically full-blown super speedway restrictor plate racing here on Tuesday night. As they've worked to get grid up there, let's take a look at tonight's running order and what this is going to look like for this group, because it is a very interesting qualifying order. You can tell a lot of these drivers thinking about the long run, and we're going to talk a lot about that here tonight. But first, it's Brandon Garand, Kevin Tipton on the front row, Steve Ritter, Joe Hudson is sitting there third and fourth tonight. Stoney Benfield's going to start fifth. Evan Fuqua, Devin McCaffrey, Alan Harris, Johnny Barker, and Frank Zingen, your top 10 as they're going to roll off the grid there, that fifth row. Tyler Humphrey, Thomas Eskew, Michael Wolf, Ty Dickinson is going to start 14th. Landon Forrester is going to start 15th tonight. Dylan Knighton is going to start 16th. David Glass, Bill Rivard, we're going to be talking a lot about him tonight from a point situation as he comes in tonight. 53-point advantage over the field. And we're going to have a short handful of races here left to go. Dalton Sly's going to start 19th. Dustin Cogan's going to start 20th. Joe LaCour is going to start 21st. Josh Slater, Carson Sherry, Noah Loveridge is going to start 24th. Eli Raposa 25th. Then it's Chris Prager, Ryland Banks, Josh Buell, Jason Wiley, Daniel George Jr. and Daniel George Sr. going to start 30th and 31st respectively. Luke Freeman, Matt Barber, Chris Brown, Ryan Davis, Ron Holyfield, Chad Lackey, and Cameron Stroop. Your 38 truck field as they roll off the grid here tonight in Atlanta. I tell you what, it is going to be some exciting racing. And if you've not seen an old new Atlanta race here on the service as of late, or maybe you're fairly new to the turn one, I tell you what, you're going to see a lot of two wide racing. You're going to see runs. They're going to have to lift a bit in these trucks, and that's going to be something we'll have to pay close attention to. These drivers here are only going to have 80 laps to try to get it done. And this would be a great race for some of these drivers to potentially get on the board with a win this season and put themselves in contention to run down the final 4 races of the season after a championship. That one truck looking pretty sharp. That's Brandon Garand, Kevin Tipton on the outside row 1. This is going to be a battle all night long, and it's going to start right here. Down to the zone they go, and the green flag is out. The BG Graphix Limited Series is live on turn 1. Off the corner, they come out of 1, and Brandon Garand is going to lead this first lap. Down through 3 and 4. No competition for the one truck. We see Steve Ritter right there, attached to the bumper, the 1. Looking to gain that inside advantage. Kevin Tipton's going to hang on to the outside. He's got the 14 truck of Joe Hudson right there with him. It's been a minute since we've seen Joe Hudson battle up front for a race. Oh, we've got trucks everywhere. Everybody goes wide, and this started right there in that mid-pack, right there around Stoney Benfield. Let's take a look, find out what may have happened here. Oh, speaking of Hudson, got down into Benfield right there across the field. Surprised. I'm going to be honest with you, with that happening so far up in the field and where it happened, that could have been much worse. But that's going to bring the caution out here for the first time tonight at Echo Park for this BG Graphix Limited Series. You heard me talking a lot about the point situation as it goes. So let's talk about that now. Let me go over here, hit a couple buttons as they come into tonight. Bill Rivard, as I mentioned, he is up 53 points on the championship. He's got a strong foundation of points as he comes into tonight. starting a little further back right now. He is running 17th after the start of this race, but that's really not a reflection of anything Bill Rivard's got going on tonight. He needs to just survive. Meanwhile, Chris Brown, Dustin Kogan, Alan Harris, Frank Zingian, and really Frank on the outer edge of possible here. Bill would have to have a really, really bad night here in Atlanta for those to be able to get within striking distance. After tonight, this is five. This makes 5 races remaining here. That's with this BG Graphix Limited Series. So 4 more after tonight, and a mix of tracks. Rockingham next week. Then we go to Phoenix and Homestead, and I think Kansas to round out the season. So a lot of varying tracks and opportunities winding down as we're under caution here for the first time tonight in Atlanta. Brandon Garand leads. You're watching Turn 1. Pace truck lights are off as they get ready to go back. Green flag racing here on lap number 6. Grand, Ritter, Tipton, Fuqua, McCaffrey, your top 5. I see everybody over on YouTube here tonight. We're strong with the BG Graphix Limited Series audience. Make sure you say hello. I know we've got some Daniel George Jr. and senior fans in the chat. Hello there. Good evening, Ms. Cooper. Thanks so much for being here. Who else do we got over there? Who do you think is going to be able to bring home this checkered flag? Brandon Garand starting on the pole. This is a strong spot to be, but it's got a long way to go to hold these drivers off. So we'll be closely monitoring that, but we want to know, we want to hear from you. Who is going to be there at the very end of this thing? Make sure you let us know in the chat. Meanwhile, Brandon Garand, Steve Ritter going to come back to the start-finish line for their first restart of the night here in Atlanta for this BG Graphix Limited Series group. It's been some great racing on Tuesday nights and a lot of conversation about what next season could look like, so hope to have an announcement about that here in the next few weeks. As Brandon Garand's going to see the green flag, not the white flag, the green flag again. We're back racing in Atlanta. Tipton in that second place, able to get out to a good start after Garand gets that decent jump here. Ritter's actually going to stay to the high line. He's hoping he's going to have a push. He's got some motion on the rear bumper there. That's Fuqua with him. Can that outside line start to build some momentum? Coming down this backstretch, so far, no. Tipton gets to the bumper of the 1. Those two are going to drive away for about a half a lap or so. But meanwhile, McCaffrey on the inside lines really mustering up a strong charge here, almost by himself, as he is now going to quickly get caught up here to the bumper of Kevin Tipton. Tipton's going to try to block both lines. Here comes Ritter on the outside, and he is going to be challenging for that second place spot. Remember, we were talking about that momentum. Ritter was going to have some. Well, he's got it now. He's got Evan Fuqua, the 70 truck, right there on the bumper and driving forward. That outside line's going to lead one with Steve Ritter to the point. Another caution out here. We got a bunch of trucks now, unfortunately, tangled up in some mess here a little bit further in the pack. Let's take a look here at what may have caused this. Oh, big contact there, and again, it's just not clear what happened. Let's see if we can get one more look. Again, this looks like this involves Josh Slater, John Buell, Michael Wolf, and a couple others. Oh, that was after it happened there. It looked like that was John Buell, I do believe, and Josh Slater there on the top. It's going to be a bunch of trucks tangled up in that one. Let's see if we can get one more look at it. Yeah, somebody just catches the right rear and then really nowhere to go. That's going to unfortunately take a couple quick drivers out of this race. That we're going to be back there biding some time. And right now I show only 32 trucks on the lead lap. Josh Slater's on pit road. David Glass is down and out at the moment. So is Daniel George Sr., Michael Wolf, Carson Cherry, and Joe Hudson. Hudson involved in that lap 3 incident. Also looks like Thomas Eske is going to come down pit road. I think he's got some front end damage. That splitter looks like it's a little tore up. As we're working caution number 2 here tonight as we work lap number 10 of 80. Again, welcome everybody to Turn 1. I'm Sean Fitz. Glad you're with us. We're racing with the 802 BG Graphix Limited Series here on Tuesday nights. And I tell you what, this, like I said, this crew has been putting on a stellar show on Tuesdays. I say that as we're under caution here early, but man, they have put on some exciting racing, brought a lot of brand new viewers to Turn 1. A lot of folks here tonight that's new to the channel, and all because they want to see some great racing. And if you are a driver looking to go racing with these guys, I strongly encourage you, head on over to Facebook, do a search for the 802 Racing League, get connected with them, go racing, and man, they've got a couple different disciplines. They're running trucks and cup, and a lot of opportunity to go oval racing and dirt racing with this 802 Racing League group. Let's take a look here tomorrow night as we're going to go cup racing with the with this same 802 group. Not necessarily this same group, mind you, but we're going to go cup racing, and that is the G-Stone Motors Elite Series here on Wednesday night. But I want to clarify, oh, I'm sorry, that is not the Elite group. I apologize. That is the the ARCA 802 ARCA series. That was the Cup group, but they are going ARCA racing after 2 races, Daytona and Las Vegas, over the last couple weeks on Wednesday. They elected to switch it up, and they're going to go ARCA racing on Wednesday nights. You can find that live right here on Turn 1, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, so make sure you get connected so you can watch some fantastic ARCA racing. They're going to go to Bristol tomorrow night, and then they head to New Hampshire, Michigan, and then Watkins Glen in 4 weeks' time. So going to be a good show there on Wednesdays, switching it up to the ARCA car. And then we go ARCA racing on Thursday night with the NC11.org Limited Series here on Turn 1. That group, I tell you what, Sim 500, also a fantastic brand, a fantastic group of drivers putting on some wonderful shows each and every night here on Turn 1. Pace truck lights are off, and wrapping up caution number 2 here in Atlanta for the 802 BG Graphix Limited Truck Series here. Brandon Garand continues to lead. He's got Steve Ritter on the outside, Kevin Tipton sitting row number 2, Evan Fuqua sitting 4th, Devin McCaffrey, Johnny Barker, Alan Harris, Tyler Humphrey, Frank Zingen, and Bill Rivard. Your top 10. Bill already up 8 spots on the night, able to stay out of some of this drama, and now sitting back here running 10th, working his way forward. Again, this is not a must-win situation by any stretch for Rivard. As a matter of fact, he just needs to stay in it so he can run through the rest of the season in a healthy position in points. We'll keep talking about that as the night goes on, but we're going to see the green flag wave bring him back to racing action here, lap number 12. Tipton and McCaffrey's going to follow the one truck all the way forward. Then it's Alan Harris, Steve Ritter, Evan Fuqua, Dustin Kogan, Johnny Barker. As everybody gets spread out a little bit here, single file on the front three. As the lights are going to come on here in Atlanta, the sun is going down. Out front, Garand to the bottom. Kevin Tipton's going to look to the outside, and they're going to drop the one truck. Here comes Tipton with McCaffrey on the bumper on the outside. Massive run on the 30 trucks. Going to bring the 77 up here with him. Garand just now getting some help back there, but he's going to lose a couple spots, and he's going to lose the lead as Kevin Tipton takes lap 14. These trucks wound up now, fully up to speed here. As we ride on board. This is Dalton Sly. He's up 10 spots, able to take advantage of some of the attrition and the cautions. Moving up here into the top 10 early tonight. Riding around on the inside line, and just listen to the off-throttle time on this truck. Trying to avoid getting into the back bumper there of the driver in front of him. That being the 44 there, that's Dustin Kogan. Dustin coming into tonight wanting to have a really solid evening. He needs it from a points perspective. But right now, everybody just on cruise control. Kevin Tipton out front, but here comes the one at Garand. He's going to have some help. I believe that's Frank Zingin on the outside line there with him. Garand led early. Lost that lead about 3 laps ago. Now making it work on the outside, at least trying to. Zingin's there with him. This is how we saw Kevin Tipton make that run. And Garand's going to do it. He's going to retake the lead coming across the stripe here as they head off into one. That sun starting to set, not a factor as much in the eyes of the drivers as Garand now out by about a truck length and a half, trying to bring the 62 along with him, but you cannot wait too long. A massive run down the backstretch, though, as these two are going to stay high for a little while longer. Cruising around on that outside line, Garand singing. Now Alan Harris starting to come into the picture, and we saw that bottom be the only way around here, but now Alan Harris is going to dip down there. He had a big run off the draft of Zingin. Going to try to squeeze out front here of the one truck for this lap. Garand's going to lead it, though, and Zingin is going to help with that push on that outside. This outside line really starting to show its strength here as we ride on board. This is with Zingin. Back behind the one truck of Brandon Garand. It is a lot like Daytona and the super speedway racing here as we look off the rear view of Zingin and Garand out there, but now Kevin Tipton has fallen back to fourth. That's Steve Ritter we're looking at the Ford F-150 of as they get single filed out here coming down the backstretch. Take a look a little further back, and here comes Bill Rivard, Tyler Humphrey, Alan Harris, and many others. Ryland Banks is in this mix. He's up 18 spots on the night. Meanwhile, as they come across the stripe here, lap 21, that inside line starting to get a little more organized. We see the 61 of Steve Ritter start to drive forward a little bit. I tell you what, you've heard me mention it a time or two here with Steve Ritter, I have called dozens of races at this point for Mr. Ritter, and he's had a lot of success here on turn one, but I have just not quite seen the spark out of him as of late in the raw speed that we know he has across a couple of these different disciplines. And we first got to know Steve during Sim 500 days, and just right now can't seem to find his mojo this season for the 802 group, but hanging up there in the top 5 early at Atlanta. This could be a night he could turn that luck around, as Garan's going to come across the stripe here. Frank Zingen's going to be P2 as they run across some lap traffic. This is going to be a little tight here. Not a lot of room on the racetrack. This inside line's going to have to find somewhere to go. They're going to have to do it really quick. That lap truck's going to move down just in the nick of time as they come down this backstretch. We'll keep a close eye here. And that truck's going to stay down on the apron as McCaffrey gets a little tight into the corner. Atlanta, like that, it is not like Daytona or Talladega where you're pretty much flat-footed and just managing the run off the bumper in front of you. It is all about trying to manage the truck and the run. It is very easy to run through the driver in front of you here in Atlanta and get a little ahead of yourself. But right now, McCaffrey running around here in that 11th place spot. He's been up and down the top 10 tonight and really liking what's going on here so far, being able to stay out of trouble. Back up front, Garan continues to lead as we work lap number 25. Ever since losing that lead, and he's been at that outside line, he's been connected to the at the hip with the 61 truck, and both these drivers been able to control both lines pretty effectively. We've seen him move down a time or two and stop the run as we're going to have some 3 wide right there for a moment. Man, I thought that was about to get tight with Ritter, Kevin Tipton, and Evan Fuqua there. Is now we're going to see some 3 wide again. Oh, and the caution's out. Looks like Devin McCaffrey collected a net and more contact. Not quite sure what brought this out. This looks like this involves Chris Proger. Let's take a look. Oh, nope. That Chris got involved in that just by sheer chance. So let's go back and take a look at this from the 77's advantage. Oh, this happened up front. That was the 95. Is that a Dylan Knighton, I believe, is who we saw just fly through there? It was. And man, we were just talking about Devin and needing to have a solid night. This all happened actually there coming across the start-finish line, and I think Devin's just an innocent bystander in all of this, and unfortunately that's going to bring the caution out here once again at Atlanta. Brandon Garan leads. Lap number 27, we're going to step aside. You're watching turn 1. with these limited sets of tires, I'll tell you what, it has an opportunity to bring some interesting strategies in the mix as the pace truck comes down. Kevin Tipton out front. I believe that was 2-tire only, but Matt Barber took, I believe that was fuel only for Matt Barber. Frank Zingen, Brandon Garan going to restart back there, third and fourth. Green flag back out. Bill Rivard has worked himself up to fifth place. Zingen able to take advantage there of the lane and move up and behind Kevin Tipton. They're going to drive forward here. Tyler Humphrey up here to the top 5 for the first time tonight. Tyler, another one of those able to take advantage of some of that pit strategy as there's a battle up front. Here comes the inside line. That's the 9 of Tyler Humphrey going to lead that lap. Out front, side by side, Humphrey moves up to the top line. He's going to pick up the draft, and the bumper there of Kevin Tipton is, he gets pushed down. It's going to be 3 wide for the lead as they come back across the stripe. Tipton's going to be in the middle. Here comes Evan Fuqua on the bottom. That outside line of the 9 is going to slide backwards. Tipton and Fuqua on the front row. Sly has moved up. He's up 16 spots, sitting in third now. Side by side, we're going to have a truck in the wall there. As the 9's going to finally try to slot in. That's Humphrey. He may fall out of the top 10 after it's all said and done. As they continue to run 2-3 wide back here, he is not giving up. Oh boy, another caution. Oh, and Steve Ritter's involved. Let's find out and see what happened to Steve Ritter. We had talked about him just really struggling. Oh, yeah, moving up there. Not quite clear. I believe that was, I'm not quite sure exactly who that was, tangled up there with him. Unfortunately, getting caught up there on the start, or coming across the start finish line, and that's going to bring the caution out here once again as they work lap number 33. And so let's re-rack it. Kevin Tipton came down pit road, right, and he had a pretty good stop there. Spent about 10 seconds in the box and came out in a pretty decent position. Frank Zing and Dalton Schley is going to restart third. Alan Harris, Bill Rivard, fifth. Tyler Humphrey, Johnny Barker, seventh. Luke Freeman, eighth. Jason Wiley, Matt Barber, your top 10. We were talking about Humphrey quite a bit during that kickoff there. He got out front on that inside line pretty strong, but that truck got tight. He got to the outside and then nowhere to go. They filled the hole very quickly. He fell all the way back to as far back as 9th at one point. Now, sitting 7th right now as we're under caution. Kevin Tipton started on the second, or started on that front row, just the outside of our pole setter, Brandon Garan. And just hanging on here. Has been in the top 10 all night tonight and led some laps. Let's quickly take a look at that lap leader scoreboard. Brandon Garan right now, who is sitting back there at 16th place, led the most so far, 23 laps, 9 laps for Kevin Tipton, and it's going to take a little bit for him to get caught up with Garan, but right now on the right track, Tyler Humphrey, Steve Ritter, and Evan Fuqua tied with 1. Let's also take a look here really quick at some of our biggest gainers. Luke Freeman right now, he is sitting in that 9th place position, but he started 23 spots back. So he was out there, was that 33rd. Matt Barber up 22. He started 11th, 19 for Jason Wiley. Daniel George Jr., another solid gainer here. He's sitting in 12th right now, but up 18 spots. And finally, Dalton Schley, he's up 15, and he's running in 4th at the moment. A lot of comers and goers here early. We're not even halfway tonight here in Atlanta, as we should see the pace trucks, see the lights go off as they come across the start finish line. Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Turn 1. I'm Sean Fitz. Glad you're with us. We're calling some 802 BG Graphix Limited Series action right here on Tuesday nights, and we're doing it next for the next 4 Tuesday nights. After this is only 4 races remain in this schedule, and you're not going to want to miss a single show, because they've been, obviously, restrictor plate track will be restrictor plate track. That's to be expected, but these guys have been putting on a great performance each and every Tuesday night over here the last month or so. Next week, we head to Rockingham and then Homestead, Miami Speedway, August 11th, and then Phoenix on the 18th. And then finally, we're going to wrap the season up. That is August 25th at Kansas Motor Speedway. So this season quickly coming to a close. Straight up and down points for this group. No calculations formula. You don't need to know trigonometry to figure out the point standings. And Bill Rivard right now in solid position, sitting up 53 points coming into tonight. I want to take that back. That was not 53. That was 50. I thought that didn't sound right. Either way, up a ton. And Bill Rivard and everybody looking to get him under control and have a chance for this championship here. Kevin Tipton, Evan Fuqua on the front row. Pace truck lights are off. Caution number 4 is going to go back into the pocket of the flag man, and they're going to get to the restart zone. The green flag is back out. The BG Graphix Limited Series is back racing in Atlanta. Tipton gets out free and clear the front 4, single filed out, but then Alan Harris is sitting back here looking to make some moves as well as Dalton Schley. He was up on that high line trying to gain some of that momentum, but he wants to lead the inside line. Then that 85 truck. Tipton's going to lead them back down the back stretch and all the way through 3 and 4 here. Across the start finish line, right to the bumper of the 61. But Frank Zingen is, that inside line gets out of control. Tipton loses Zingen. It's going to be a 3-way battle for the front. And here comes Bill Rivard on the outside. The front row could not hang on to it. That started with Kevin Tipton. Frank Zingen mismatching bumpers, and now Tipton's going to lose a ton of spots. He's going to make contact. Several trucks go around. That's including the one of Brandon Garan. Let's see if we can piece all this together. Oh, yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, that unfortunately is caught that outside line, and I believe that was Daniel George Jr. making a bit of a left there down the short chute here one more time. Oh, he was moving down to try to avoid the 13 truck. More carnage here at Atlanta, as we're going to see caution number 5 here at the halfway point. Bill Rivard, our championship leader, is going to lead, and we'll talk more about how the second half of this race is going to shape up. We still have a pit stop that's going to be needed by this group, and so much more. You're watching Turn 1. Let's reset it. The lights are on, the sun is down, and we're halfway through tonight's race here with the BG Graphix Limited Series on turn one. I'm Sean Fitz. Bill Rivard's going to be leading. Johnny Barker, Frank Zingen, Evan Fuqua, Daniel George Jr., John Buell, Alan Harris, Eli Raposa, Charlie Latacora, and Ryland Banks going to start 10th here as we get ready to go back green flag racing. Wrapping up another caution here. It's been an eventful night for this group. Some of these drivers having a hard time with this Atlanta Echo Park format as the pace truck's going to head down pit road. I think Bill Rivard thinks the safest spot he could be is on that front row, and he's there. Into the restart zone, our championship leader gets him back rolling. Green flag out here in Atlanta. We've not talked about that 6 very much here tonight. He's on that outside row. Johnny Barker's, I think he's due at this point to have a strong finish as Rivard's going to move up to the high line and pick up that 6 truck. That's going to open the door for Frank Zingen to make some moves on the inside. Wow, they really scatter out there for that second place spot. 3 wide. Rivard in the middle. He's going backwards. Zingen battling Daniel George Jr. for the lead as they come across the stripe. Daniel George Jr. on the bottom, riding the paint through 1 and 2. Leading the charge on that inside line. A little bit of action all over the racetrack here. 3 wide back there for 5th. Barker on the outside line. It's 2 by 2 for the lead. Zingen, George Jr. continue to swap it back and forth here as they come down to start, or come down to backstretch. I believe that's Alan Harris there on that inside line. Underneath, Rivard is, they get tight back here with Brandon Garand. I saw that. That was the 76 truck. Getting a little tight to the bumper. He's going to slide back. Grant going to stay locked in here. Side by side. Zingen leads by half a truck length. Oh, that inside line's going to have to check up. That was Harris getting out of shape a little bit. But the green's going to stay out. Rivard tightly glued to the bumper of the 61. Pushes Frank Zingen out front. What a strong run here out of Rivard. Right to the bumper of Zingen. He's going to look to the inside. He wanted Frank to come down. Johnny Barker's going to make a run on that outside line as well. A 23 truck. Keeps trying to run the inside line there a little too strong. I don't know how that's going to work out for him. Tried to straighten out the corner, I get it, but man, he has been down underneath that paint a couple different times. Meanwhile, we look up on the high side. That's the 46. That's Eli Raposa. He's up here in the top 10 for what I feel like is the first time tonight. Trying to hang on to it on the outside of Brandon Garand. Kevin Tipton's here in this mix, and he's all by himself up there, trying to hang on with a little bit of side draft. Back up front, the drag race continues with Daniel George Jr. right to the bumper. Frank Zingen, Bill Rivard attached here pretty tight. Oh, they're going to get out of shape. Zingen's going to have to go to the inside. That's going to pick up Daniel George Jr. These 2 drivers were running pretty strong with one another. Wow, wall contact for Raposa. We're going to stay green. And Frank now having to defend a little bit on that inside line. These trucks starting to become a handful to handle as they start to get lighter. Work through the tire wear ever so slightly. That inside line starting to lose a little bit of pace to the outside. They're moving backwards. Rivard is going to bring Johnny Barker. He's going to bring the 70 Fuqua. And here comes Brandon Garand back to the front. Zingen losing a lot of time here. I don't know if that's in an effort to maybe save a little bit of gas or what's going on, but he's going to lose. He's going to fall out of the top 5. As Rivard now out to the point. Johnny Barker on the outside, hanging tight to the bumper. I tell you what, when that caution came out, Garand got collected. I would not have expected to see him back up front here tonight. But here he is, fighting for a 3rd place spot here on the outside of Fuqua, on the outside, making it work here as they come across the stripe with 29 laps to go here at Echo Park. That 6 truck rather of Johnny Barker, he has been up and down the running order. As we look back, there's still 3 wide battling back here. Zingen on the high side there, Fuqua in the middle, Daniel George Jr. on the bottom, John Buell, Kevin Tipton, and the 23 truck all just everywhere, all over the racetrack. Meanwhile, there's a second group here worth talking about. That's David Glass, Brian Davis, Chris Brown, Ty Dickinson. Oh, I'm sorry, Dustin Cogan back here running with Ty Dickinson. That's 21st. A lot of drivers who thought tonight was going to be a productive night got a good bit of damage. Meanwhile, Rivard out front, the 6 of Johnny Barker. Right there with him, the 1. And the 62 of Frank Zingen making moves. Frank went backwards there for a couple laps. Now he's back up here in the 4th place spot. They are single filed out for the top 5. Bill Rivard leads that lap, and keep in mind, he come into tonight the championship leader plus 50 points on 2nd place. And this would almost, well, it wouldn't make it a guarantee, but this could shore up a championship for the 01 of Bill Rivard if he can bring home the victory here. As we have a moment here, a green flag run. Let's ride on board. Let's do it with the 30 truck of Kevin Tipton as he works the lap here under the lights at Echo Park. The action up and down the racetrack, it is hard to keep a hold of these trucks at times. We saw that riding on board there. Oh, we've got trucks spinning down on the bottom of the racetrack. It collected the 9 of Humphrey. Oh, they would have nearly kept that green flag, but no. Going around there is Matt Barber. I think this wreck started coming into 3. It did. And then Daniel George Jr. involved, and Tyler Humphrey, everybody in pretty much a slide. I don't, okay, there may have been some opportunity to prevent some of that, but either way, that's going to bring the caution out, and Bill Rivard Did not want to see that. This was a nice longer green flag run, the longest of the night, and he is going to be scored your leader. I suspect we'll see some pit stops here as we're going to be under caution. Once again, here in Atlanta, you're watching Turn 1. Gonna go back green flag racing here with about 19 laps to go in the 802 BG Graphix Limited Series here on Turn 1 Tuesday nights. It's been an eventful one here in Atlanta. But Bill Rovard continues to lead, but Johnny Barker is going to be in the strike zone there on that outside line. Restarting second, Brandon Garand, Frank Zingen, John Buell, your top five. And firmly under the lights now, the sun's gone down. And while the temperatures may be cooling off, the action on track, I can't only imagine it's going to get a little hotter here. As all the give has gone, it is mostly going to be about take now as these drivers jockey for this position, this track position here. Mix of strategy, a mix of damages on some of these trucks. And the green flag is back out. Rivard getting out front, free and clear. The one's going to be able to take advantage. John Buell's going to make a move here right to the bumper. Meanwhile, Rivard's going to move up, try to pick up Kevin Tipton, but Brandon Garand in the one truck, a rocket ship move on the outside. He's going to move back to the front, try to take the lead here for this lap. He's going to do it. That may be the move of the night, the one truck retaking the lead. Lap number 63. Everybody jockeying around here, and again, we saw some of these trucks come down pit road, but really not a ton. Everybody thinks they've got enough fuel to make it to the very end. Very possible with all the cautions we've had these drivers can take advantage of that fuel savings. And now Grand out front. John Buell sitting second. Kevin Tipton now starting to make a move here on that outside line. He is following in the tire tracks of the 47. And then Johnny Barker back here. Frank Zingen settled at 6. Alan Harris still maintaining a consistent but quiet night there in that 39 truck. Garand started at the front, lost the position after some mix of pit strategies took effect here. What was that, around lap 40? No, it was before that, 27, I believe. And now was able to find his way back forward. A little bit of damage on that truck. He's been sideways a couple times in that one. But right now, they've got it ported straight off the nose of the 47. And they're going to come across the stripe here with 15 laps to go at Atlanta. Well, we've got some green flag conditions. Let's crank it up. Listen to these trucks make a lap. That lap truck going to be a factor here before they get too much further down the line. Looks like that's going to be the 77, I believe. Devin McCaffrey smartly goes down to the apron here. As again, they're starting to single file out that inside line. Don't quite have a run, but back here it's going to be a 3-wide battle. That's Singin. On that bottom line, now it's going to be Johnny Barker. The 75 is going to make some wall contact there. Bill Rivard on the outside of this group. And, oh, they're going to get forward wide and get collected. That is going to be an impact to the championship as they go around and the caution's out. Remember how I mentioned it was going to be a little less about giving and more taking, and they got 4 wide coming off the corner. Rivard goes around. That's Alan Harris around right there. That's also Evan Fuqua involved. And that's going to bring the caution out here once again. Garand, your leader, John Buell sitting second. Garand did not want to see that caution come out. He had actually had a pretty firm hold on that top spot, and now he's going to have to go back green flag racing and defend this here with about 8 laps to go. This will get everybody to the good. The 47 truck's going to restart second. Kevin Tipton, and the 30 is going to restart third. Let's quickly recap tonight in the point standings. We talked about it earlier, but I want to make sure we capitalize it one more time because impacts are happening here now. Bill Rivard came into the night, so I was right, up plus 53. We'll have to double check the math there. Either way, having a pretty banner season, but now that may be affected ever so slightly here with Dustin Cogan, Chris Brown also, Chris Brown down 53, Dustin Cogan down 61, Alan Harris down 64, Frank Zingen down 81. And this has just been a dominant season for Rivard with 4 wins on the season. But I firmly believe now this could quite shake some things out. Revere's down pit road. Daniel George Jr. is there with him as well. Rivard doesn't look like he's got a ton of damage on that 01. He may be able to get that patched up and mostly back up to speed. He wants to try to keep that truck clean, but now he's going to be marred back in traffic as they get ready to go back green flag racing with about 8 to go. Brandon Garand, your leader under caution. Once again, you're watching Turn 1. Brandon Garand's going to take that outside line. That's going to give John Buell the inside look, and then it's going to be Kevin Tipton. Joe Ledecor is going to restart fourth. Rick Zing and Johnny Barker, row number 3. And I'll tell you what, this is going to be a tough one to call. I don't really know who is going to have to be in the position, but I tell you, it's pretty much anybody's race. If you're on the lead lap on track right now, it could be anybody. Bill Rivard's going to come back out here 18th, but I suspect he's going to be a little further up before it's all said and done. The pace truck's going to be down pit road, and it's going to be John Buell, Brandon Garand on the front row into the restart zone. The outside gets checked up a little bit, but we're back green here in Atlanta with the 9 laps to go. Garand hangs on to it on that bottom line. Single filed out for the top 3. Single filed out now for the top 4. Everybody moves up top, trying to get a run, but Barker's now going to slide back down to the bottom. It's going to be even here. Going to be even with John Buell as the 6 trucks trying to make a run on the inside to the stripe. They come, 8 to go. Garand leads from the outside line. Can Barker get collected up here with the 62? The 9 of Humphrey is back up front as well. Off the corner. Barker losing a little bit of a run on that inside line. Zingen having to check up. That's going to check up that whole inside line down there. And they're 3 wide, making contact, and we're going to see another caution out here. That is Ron Holyfield there sideways across the racetrack in that 28 Pennzoil machine. And no other victims, I don't think so there. And that's going to bring the caution out here with 6 to go. So this is, we're going to see another opportunity for another restart with 3 to go or 4 to go here with, but Brandon Garand, man, I think he doesn't, I don't know if this is what Garand wants to see in the grand scheme of things. He wanted to see this all play out. He didn't want any of the drama, any of the nonsense. He wanted to just see this run all the way to the green flag. Or all the way to the white flag and see how it all shook out. But now they're going to have to get another restart under their belts as they're going to get caught up behind the pace car as we're working caution number 8 at Atlanta. Garand leads John Buell, Kevin Tipton, Johnny Barker, your top 4. We'll step aside one more time. You're watching Turn. Pace truck lights are off as we get back green flag racing, and Brandon Grant has raced himself from the pole all the way back to sideways down the front stretch to now back out front. Is going to restart here with 2 laps to go, or 3 laps to go rather, on the front row alongside John Buell, Johnny Barker, Kevin Tipton, and more. And this is going to be an exciting one here. If we could get it ran all the way to the white flag, they'll race all the way to the very end. Pace truck down pit road. Garand has had a great set of restarts. He's going to get another one here. Cross the stripe, 3 to go for the 1 truck. Bill's going to get single filed up. Then it's Tipton and Barker, but that won't last for long. Tipton's going to have a shove down the backstretch just a bit here. That's the 23 truck there, attached to his bumper, and they're wrecking again. That is unfortunate. Now that's big contact for the 01 truck. That's Kevin Tipton as well, caught up in this. Hard to get a good read on what happened there. Still just having a hard time following where this all took place. Yeah, it looked like that was between Tipton, Humphrey, and others, and that's just an unfortunate event there. That's 3 fast trucks here involved, and this is going to put us in the NASCAR overtime. A lot of time behind the pace truck here tonight with the 1 truck out front. John Buell, Johnny Barker, Frank Singen. Your top 4. As a reminder, tomorrow night, for tomorrow night, the 802 ARCA Series comes to Wednesday nights. It used to be the 802 Cup Series, but electing to switch the car out. They're going to go Bristol Racing on the 29th. They're going to go Bristol Racing tomorrow night here on Turn 1. A very short track, a half mile. The Great Coliseum going to go racing on Wednesday here with the group from the 802 Racing League. And then keep in mind, too, it's 1 week from tonight. This group here, the BG Graphix Limited Truck Series, they go and head on over to Rockingham for 125 laps. That'll be a great show. I've seen Rockingham run out pretty well for a lot of the groups here on Turn 1 as of late. Looking forward to that one. The original Ginge and Devil Dog Sergeant over on Twitch. Thanks so much for the follows. I appreciate the support there. If you're new to the channel, thanks so much for being here. You're watching Turn 1. I'm Sean Fitz. Glad you've been with us. It has been an eventful night up and down the racetrack here in Atlanta. But the sun is down, the lights are up, and the action is, it's actioning all up and down the racetrack with this 802 BG Graphix Limited Truck Series. And they are, tell you what, it has been a battle for a lot of these drivers here tonight. We've seen a lot of fast trucks get unfortunately taken out of this thing, and it's going to be interesting to see how this all stacks up. Keep in mind, we were just talking about Bill Rivard coming into tonight. He had a 53-point lead. Now, he's going to be in some trouble here because right now he scored 19th and a lot of damage in that 01 truck. He's not going to finish on the lead lap. Kevin Tipton's going to try to get out there and get that. He's got that truck mostly fixed up. He's been running in the top 5 most of the evening. And, you know, we that big gap out front there in points for Rivard. This is now anybody's opportunity to get up there and potentially take a bite out of that, especially a winner. Could do really well from a point standings position. And this is all about momentum. You know, you have a great night at a plate race or a plate track, and maybe you start putting some strong top threes together, and then you go down to run. You go to Rockingham and run decent there. And all it takes is Rivard to have two bad races out of the next 4. And we've got to run to the championship all the way to Kansas at the end of August. Garand, John Buell out front. Going to go to NASCAR overtime. They're going to race. They're going to get the green flag here. If they get back to the white, well, then guess what? It is going to be a battle all the way to the checkered flag. No other flag can end it. But if they don't make it back to the white flag and another caution comes out, we'll reback it. Try to get a green flag finish once again. The pace truck's down pit road. Garand, Buell on the front row. Green flag back out. NASCAR overtime in effect for the BG Graphix Limited Series. Garand able to get out front by a truck length or so. Buell's going to collect a run from Frank Zingen. Garand's going to try to keep a hold of that as they come down the backstretch. Johnny Barker in the mix. Here comes the 23 truck down on the bottom. And we're going to have a couple more wrecking here, and that's going to bring the caution out. Let's take a quick look here. What may have happened? That's Daniel George Jr., Johnny Barker in it. Man, I think I saw the 9 truck in this mix as well. I did. Humphrey right there near all that. Let's take a look here. Dalton Schley got caught up in this. He got turned by Kevin Tipton. That is unrelated to this. And I believe McCaffrey also... Oh, nope, that's not going to be a good view. Either way, that's going to bring the caution out here once again. I do believe they're going to have 2 attempts at a green-white checkered finish. Let me go check my notes here very quick. Let me go dig it up here. There we go. Yeah, I do believe it is going to be 2 green-white checkers. They did have 2 sets of tires in the pits, and that's what we've seen a lot of these drivers come down pit road and grab over the last many laps. Well, one of them not being Brandon Garand. He has stayed out and been out there since lap number 40 on those tires and on that fuel. John Buell came down pit road lap 27. Frank Zingen. They must feel pretty confident that they've got enough fuel to make it the whole way. Obviously, a good bit of caution here during the race to be able to save some fuel for Zingen and Buell. But ultimately, I don't know if that's going to turn into a whole lot of track position here for him tonight. Only 16 trucks on the lead lap, and Devin McCaffrey showing a lap down. Dalton Schley, Daniel George Jr. is now parked it. So is Bill Rivard. He is going to finish 21st tonight, as it's been a rough go of it for our championship contender here the last 15 laps. Just as a reminder, this one truck, he's been out front for quite a while here tonight. As a matter of fact, let's check here really quick. I don't know if he is taking that top spot. He has. So Brandon Garand leading 45 laps, so over half the laps here tonight. And really a strong performance. Started on the pole, got caught up in some pit strategy issues back there around lap 27. And then it was in an incident here on the front stretch. And ultimately able to run back up here through that through the traffic, through down pit road, and get the repairs fixed up on that one truck. Now back out front here. And going to have another restart. Another attempt at a green-white checkered finish. John Buell found himself in a good spot right here as well in that 47 truck. Setting himself up to have a good night, but let's play close attention to Johnny Barker in the 6. He's on the inside line there, so is the 9 of Tyler Humphrey. Ryan Davis, Dustin Kogan, Evan Fuqua, a couple others back here. A lot of trucks beat up in this field, but a lot of fast drivers looking to capitalize on one more restart here. Pace truck back down pit road. Grand into the restart zone. He's had a solid run of restarts here. He's going to get a pretty good jump at this one. Overtime attempt number 2. Green in Atlanta. I think that's going to be it right there. We've got several trucks wrecked here as we're coming to 1, including David Glass involved. Let's take a look. Yeah, that was the 84. I'm not quite sure what happened there. And that's going to bring the caution out, and I do believe that'll end it here, and it will. And Brandon Garand going to be Scourger winner, John Buell, and the 23 truck. Going to be your top 3. We're going to step aside here. They're going to wrap up the lap, and we're going to get ready for some post-race coverage. You're watching Turn 1. Another race in the books here tonight on turn one. Let's quickly grab race winner Brandon Garand. He is bringing it home to victory lane. Brandon, sorry, I think I interrupted the conversation there.
No, you're good, Sean.
Either way, listen, congratulations, a win here tonight. Probably not the way you wanted to get it. I think you'd like to have seen a green flag run play out there, but walk me through your night. Started on the pole, then got set back a little bit with some pit strategy.
Yep, truck was really good. I mean, so when I put down that lap, I was not expecting the pole, but that was good to see that I was the only one that broke into the 31, so that felt good to give me a little bit of confidence. And then, yeah, kind of controlled the first half of that race there a little bit by myself, and then Frank finally got up there, and that's when I was comfortable. We kind of ran the top, and it was really good. And then, yeah, the pitch strategy, then that restart right after, kind of got trapped, and then stuck to the back all the way to 16th. Then you get caught up in the accident, and you might start fuming a little bit, and it might it might have been one of those moments where I was thinking when I'm driving, it's like, if we die, we die, you know. And I knew I had a fast truck, and I wanted to get back up to the front, and got lucky. And then, yeah, like you said, kind of wish it was green, but also if it would have went green, I kind of felt confident. I had John, who's a teammate behind me. We had Frank that eventually got up there, and yeah, we just ended up with the numbers at the end, and unfortunately came away with a green-white checker win, but it's still a win.
Yeah, Brandon, absolutely it is. We saw that outside line, and you were a champion of it for a good portion here tonight, running that upper line there. And we saw you made a power move up there to get by as well. Walk me through what that looks like as a driver, how this feels at track. I know this Atlanta Echo Park racetrack here does not feel like Talladega or Daytona, but still a very similar format with that super speedway mindset.
Yeah, you're really trying to. So the backstretch is really hard to pass, but I really try to time my run to try to get to the outside, like coming through the tri-oval. Like that's pretty much the best spot to try to get to somebody's right rear. And obviously a few times, like I felt like I was there, but I'm not gonna like force it in there. And you got to really be at least to the tire to tire, basically front tire to rear tire, to feel confident enough to not just stick it in there on somebody. But yeah, it's tough to pass, especially when, like at that point where we did get back up to the front, and I had John behind me and just couldn't make the move on both Johnny and Bill. But yeah, if you can control that outside line, that's pretty much the key that I've noticed here, and makes it easier when you got a few teammates behind you too that you know that probably aren't going to make a move until the last lap, which when we were coming to the checker flag under caution, John said I was going to make a move, and I was like, I would have been disappointed if you didn't. So.
Well, listen, Brandon, this is the first win of the season here for this BG Graphix Limited Series. Next week we head to Rockingham and then Homestead. What chances do you got? What pace do you have in that one truck to maybe put a run together here as the season comes to a close?
Boy, it's gonna take probably 2 or 3 more of these to just gain on Bill a little bit. Obviously with him not having a good run today, I probably cut 30 into whatever I have, so maybe I'm like minus 70, but it's gonna take a lot of luck, and I think it's just a product of this kind of track that kind of like caught Bill up, because we saw he was up front, he's fast, it doesn't matter where it is, so it's gonna take a lot of luck to catch up to Bill. I think realistically trying to get up to second would be a good spot to try to get to, but we're not gonna give up first as of right now. We don't do that. We got 4 races to go and a couple really good tracks for me. I love Rockingham. Homestead's kind of I can run decently there, but again, I barely race the truck. And then I really love we got Phoenix and Kansas, so two other really good tracks to end the season off. So we're not gonna give up, but we got to also be realistic, and I do want to have a better points finish where we ended up. But it's good to get that first win off the Schneid finally.
Well, listen, Brandon, I completely agree with you. This is a tough track. Able to bring it home though. You survived it under the lights here in Atlanta. Congratulations on the victory, and we appreciate the time tonight.
Yeah, appreciate you putting on the broadcast as always. Give a shout out to the kids, Bryson and Brody, and yeah, I guess we're getting pretty good at these plate races, I guess.
Brandon Garand, your winner here tonight at Echo Park. Thanks, Brandon.
Later, man.
And with that, we will grab John Buell, and the man I feel like we have talked circles around for the last couple weeks in races. John, congratulations. A top 3 finish here tonight in Atlanta. When it all shook out, we saw that 47 truck out front with 10 to go. What was in your thought here, knowing that the cautions have been kind of going on quite a bit, and you were kind of in that striking distance there with the one?
Well, if we would have kept it green on that last green-white checkered, Brandon would have actually had some competition at the end of the race there.
Yeah, I firmly believe that. We've seen you be strong at different periods throughout of really a lot of different races and a lot of different disciplines. I'll ask you a similar question I asked Brandon. This Atlanta track, it's a super speedway mindset, but it doesn't seem to race that way. What does it take to be successful here?
A lot of catching the wheel, because this thing it'll kill you if you don't hold on to her.
Yeah, you could definitely see that throughout the field here tonight, and obviously being able to walk away with a top 3 is gotta feel like a partial victory nonetheless. We look ahead. We're done with the super speedways. We go to Rockingham next week. That is a driver's track, and again, one of those tracks that I feel like you've really shown some speed over the last month or two that I've been calling these races. What do you got for them there?
We'll see on next Tuesday, because I don't practice at all, and I get on here just in time for qualifying to begin.
Well,
so it'll be a nightmare.
Well, John, I don't know if that's a good thing or not that you're celebrating a top 3 here tonight, but hey, we're gonna call it. We're gonna chalk it up to a positive. Thanks so much for the time tonight, and congratulations, sir.
All right, thanks, bud.
John Buell bringing home a top 3 in Atlanta. Let's grab the man who I have been butchering his last name, I imagine, for pretty much the last 2 months. Joey, congratulations, top 3 in Atlanta. But we got to get down to the brass tacks of this. How do you pronounce that last name?
You just got to say Lattiser.
Lattiser. You know what? I didn't get that at all. I'm terrible with names, but thank you. Now the air is clear.
It's all good.
Joey, walk me through your night here in Atlanta. This track it looked like it was something else, a handful in these trucks.
It is, but it's kind of a fun handful, you know, like when you do Daytona and you're drafting, there's so much time between the corners, and you know, I just find this is like a lot more up on the wheel, and it's like there's less waiting, you know. But that tri-oval is just such a challenge, because you know what you see is not what you run. You know what I mean? Like the stripes on the track, if you followed them, there's no way your car is doing a 45-degree angle twice in the middle of the straightaway, right? So it's it gets a little sketchy, especially when you're 2 or 3 wide there. It's like you're trying to keep it fluid, but you don't know what the other guy's thinking either, right? So but no, I enjoy this style of racing. It's definitely a challenge, but you know, if you kind of save yourself for the end, which is kind of what I did. You know, I got one little jingle there, I think around lap 10 or something. Didn't have too much damage. We took the time to fix it right, and then just kind of didn't really take any big runs, any big risks. You know, just kind of keep our nose clean, and missed a few wrecks by inches a few times there, and that's what put us in position to be at the front of the end.
Joey, I know that pit strategy with all the cautions didn't really necessarily play out probably to many's benefit. Was tire wear really ever a thought for you guys in the driver's seat tonight, in terms of what that could feel like? Did it change a whole lot across what green flag laps we did have in the truck?
I think it was just so hard to pass that even if you had a tire advantage, you might not have a lane to use them, you know, so you'd be boxed in, and once you get 5 or 10 laps on them, I don't think there's a big difference. I think if you were kind of easy on your tires in the first 5 or 10 laps, you never really lost them, you know. I mean, like, I never got sideways, or I never got like a bad push or anything. You just got to kind of, you know, the air does so much here. You get these weird pockets where you get you shove the nose, or the truck gets real loose. But if you're kind of always just kind of, I don't know, massaging your throttle and just kind of keeping yourself in a safe spot, not too close up, not too, you know, I think I had 40 laps on my tires at the end there, or whatever it was, and I never, you know, I wish we could have raced back to the line there on that last green there. Might have got interesting, but I never felt like I was giving up anything traction-wise. I think, you know, like I said, there's so many cars in this series, so many trucks. You restart 28th with 10 or 15 to go. I don't think tires would have got you anywhere.
Well, I think you found the safe space. You were up 18 spots on the night and able to bring home that top 3. So congratulations on that. We will see you hopefully next week with another successful run over at Rockingham, and then the 4 races remaining in this season. We appreciate for the time. We appreciate your time tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the broadcast. And like I said, it's only been a few races I've been with these guys, but they got a real good bunch here, competitive bunch, nice car count. So hopefully we'll be back for a couple more.
Joey Laddister, P3 here tonight at Atlanta. Joey, have a great night.
Thank you. Take care.
And with that, we're going to wrap up race coverage here with the 802 BG Graphix Limited Series on Turn 1 Tuesday night. It was a wild night up and down the racetrack. But next, or tomorrow night, the 802 ARCA Series continues on Wednesday nights. And then Thursday nights, the NCAA 11 Limited Series comes back as well. We're racing 4 nights a week on Turn 1, and we're glad you're with us. On behalf of the league admins, I'm Sean Fitz. Thanks so much for being here. We'll catch you next time for more racing action. Bye-bye, everybody.